Welcome, Virgos, to your month ahead Tarotscope for the month of October 2015. This reading is for you if your sun, moon, or rising sign is in the sign of Virgo. I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling. Now, I've already shuffled extensively before this video started to kind of mix up the cards. The purpose of me shuffling right now is to let the appropriate cards for you, Virgo, come up to the top of my deck. All right, so the first card is going to talk about how you're feeling heading into this month, how you're feeling heading into the month of October. And we have the moon. I feel that you've really spent some time recently connecting to your shadow self, connecting to the part of you that you've wanted in the past to reject. You've really started connecting with the bits and pieces of you that until now have remained in your subconscious, that have remained in the darkness, if you will. And this has been hard at times. Some of these things are not things that you want to admit about yourself. Some of these things are not things that you want to be true. But you've started on the journey of accepting these things. You've started to accept you. And what a beautiful lesson this is. What a beautiful experience this is. You're really, yes, the moon represents the unconscious. So those things that have been below the surface level up into this point. But I really am drawn to the sun here because I feel like by learning these things about yourself, you're stepping into your power. You're becoming you, who you really are, and you're showing the world. All of this blue represents self-expression. So you're showing the world, you're expressing your truth. Because these things that have been in your unconscious, whether they are presumably negative or positive, and I mean, anything is only negative or positive when you make it. So be aware of overanalyzing, be aware of labeling these traits that you're discovering about yourself. But as you begin to incorporate these things, these personality traits, these things that have lived in your subconscious, as you begin to incorporate them into your daily life and you show the world and you express them and you become proud of them, that's really when you're going to start stepping into your power. And you've begun this process already, and you're really feeling immersed in this energy of the unconscious as you move into the month of October. The second card here is your general forecast for the month ahead. So this is the general forecast for you, Virgo, for the month of October. And we have the Ten of Swords. Parts of this month are going to feel like you hit rock bottom. Parts of this month are going to feel like nothing else can go wrong. And you're going to be sitting with that energy. There's going to be a lot of depression at times, a lot of sadness, a lot of feelings like you want to give up. And this may be hard for you. This may be hard at times. And you're going to feel like this man just lying here with these swords in his back. What else could possibly go wrong? It's almost funny. You want him to lift his head and be like, oh, just go ahead, put another sword in my back. Like, what possibly could go wrong? Like, it won't hurt anymore to have one more sword in my back. And I urge you to look at the humorous side of this card. When we hit rock bottom, the only direction we can go in is up. And these swords in your back, those are your lessons. Those are the things that you're learning about yourself. Those are the things you've discovered about yourself. And there will be times this month that it feels like those things are stabbing you in the back. And it feels like nothing else can go wrong. And you want to lift your head up and say, go ahead, stab me again, and see if I care. There will be times that you feel that. And there will be times where you look at these swords and you realize that you have a choice to pull them out of your back, that some of these swords are self-inflicted. Be aware of the swords that you're sticking in your own back and realize that you can pull them out at any time. And know that as you are sitting there at rock bottom, the only direction you can go is up. The sun is right here. The clouds are clearing and the sun is coming out. So, yes, it is rock bottom, but it's also the beginning of an amazing new journey of undoubtedly more self discovery and more self awareness. Card number 3 is your upcoming challenges for this month ahead. And we have the Knight of Cups. I do think that this is going to be a pretty emotional month for you, Virgo. We have the moon with water here. And of course, the moon does represent emotions, those more feminine qualities of ourselves, so emotions being one of them. And you have a river here as you have the Knight of Cups. And Cups does correspond to the water sign, so emotions again. And it is going to be an emotional month for you. And these emotions are going to kind of seem very erratic. I think sometimes you're going to feel here, lying on the ground with swords in your back. And then the next minute, you're going to feel like you're galloping on a horse to victory. One minute, you're going to feel like a lobster or a crab, just wanting to pinch people, angry, and the next second you're going to feel like a playful puppy. It's going to be very erratic, very back and forth, and this is going to be challenging for you. Virgo, you're not a sign that tends to jump into their emotions, that tends to feel them. And for you, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to experience these feelings, to feel these feelings without analyzing them to death. So that will be your challenge this month, is to feel the feelings, to let them come through you, to allow yourself to experience them and kind of check out of your mind. Because it's really when your mind and your ego takes over that you find yourself here. You find yourself stabbing yourself because of the mind chatter, because of the monkey mind, because of the ego. So be aware of that. Be aware of your mind, be aware of your emotions, and be aware of what is causing you, what emotions or what mind chatter is occurring, and whether that's a reason that you have swords in your back. So card number 4 is your good fortune, your blessings, and your abundance. So this is all the lovely, great stuff that is coming your way for the month of October. And we have the Nine of Swords. So an interesting card to come up in your blessings, your good fortune, and your abundance position for this spread. On the surface level, this probably doesn't seem like a very positive card. How can worries, how can anxieties, how can being woken up in the middle of the night with your mind spinning, how can that be a blessing? I think this refers a lot to your intuition as well as the lessons you can learn from that monkey mind. This is going to be a little bit of a rough month for you, and I think it's really, you've done so much self-exploration, and you feel like everything's kind of coming to to a place of fulfillment. Like you're waiting for things to happen now. And it's that waiting that is really starting to drive you nuts, if you will. It's really starting to trigger you. And these are the types of things that you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and think about. Now, a couple of these of the other signs have gotten this card too. So I do feel like this is an overarching energy for the month ahead for many of the signs. And for you, Virgo, I urge you to practice reframing the negative thoughts that you have. I feel like this card is coming up in your blessings because this is going to be a huge lesson for you, and in turn a huge blessing for you. I do feel like you've been struggling with negative self-talk and with really beating yourself up through the thoughts that you think and the words that you say. And this will be the month I feel that you have the choice to continue in this pattern or to make a new pattern, to start talking lovingly to yourself, to start saying lovely, beautiful things to you and yourself. And I feel like by doing this, this will be a catalyst for so many beautiful things. Because once you start loving yourself, you'll really be in the position to move forth in the achievement of the goals and dreams that you have. So it's one of those blessings in disguise things. I also mentioned the intuition earlier, and I think that you will find yourself waking up in the middle of the night and kind of having like bursts of inspiration. So it's almost like a double-edged sword, literally. You're gonna have realizations, and yes, they might keep you up at night, but they're very, very important for your growth and your learning. I also feel that these swords are things that you need to kind of cut out of your life. And I think it is just these swords that are in your back. Again, just having realizations about things that you need to change and paths that you need to take. So a lot of like eureka moments, if you will. The last card in this spread is going to talk about this month's lessons. I definitely think a lot of it is on the mental level for you this month, but as well on the emotional. It's really, you have two very mental cards and two very emotional cards. So, really learning to balance those two parts of yourself, um, of your being, and having them and bringing them into balance. I'm really big on lessons. I think everything happens for a reason, or everything happens so we can learn something from it. And that's why I include lessons in my tarot spreads. So, what are your lessons, Virgo? What are you going to be learning for the month of October? And we have the Hierophant. And this card is all about discipline, but from a very spiritual perspective. I think that you're really going to start working with your mind and your ego, and you're really going to start admitting some things that you haven't wanted to admit. It's very easy to be in denial about what our mind says, about what our mind thinks, or even to want to pay attention to what our mind thinks. I think you're really getting to the point in your journey, Virgo, where you don't have a choice. It's kind of make it or break it time, because there's going to be some of this energy this month. But ultimately, you have a choice what path you take. Do you listen to the ego? Do you listen to the monkey mind? Or do you feel the emotion so that you can heal what needs to be healed? The knight here, he's looking at this man who's just having all these thoughts and is really suffering because of these thoughts. And I feel like this is saying you have a choice between the emotions and the monkey mind. And I think you have a choice to bring those into balance, to see how they can work together, to see what you can learn from them. And this is going to take a certain amount of discipline. It is going to take, oh, I am feeling an emotion. I choose to allow myself to feel this emotion. Or it is going to take you saying, oh, I am having a negative thought. Let me reframe this. Let me say, instead of I hate myself, let me say no, cancel, delete. I love myself. So, really making that decision and exercising that discipline. I think that spiritual means will really help you through this month, whether it's meditation or prayer, however you make that connection with the divine. That is a really big tool for you for learning and for growth this month. So this concludes your Tarotscope for the month of October. If you're interested in a personalized reading, you can find the link to my Etsy shop in the description below.